Hey, welcome to the Edit Page Basics series. This is part of a full series on the channel where I teach you something quick and easy by Davinci Resolve and hopefully get it to you in 5 minutes or less with you guys understanding more than you came in with. Each video builds on the other one, so make sure that you watch each video all together so you can get the biggest idea. But if you're looking for just one particular topic, then you can easily search through my playlist and find out what you're looking for. Today we're going over the edit page layout, so let's go ahead and hop into it. To start us off, let's go ahead and make some changes to the project settings and the properties so that we can quickly get into each project and make sure that we understand how to set one up each time. So let's come down here to the cogwheel and let's go over here to proxy media resolution. If you plan on having larger files like 4K files, this may not be a bad idea. Make it down to half or whatever size you want to choose, just so that it doesn't have to be such a large file to have to play every single time. If you also plan on having a lot of fusion graphics or large files once again, go ahead and change this from uncompressed 10-bit down to either SQ or HQ right here, because these two are going to be small file sizes that won't affect your quality that much. SQ is going to have slightly less quality, HQ is going to have a bit more quality. If you really don't care, LB is a good one to choose, but I like to go with SQ because it makes the file size for those cached files really small. Otherwise, the uncompressed version makes them huge and will fill up your hard drive in like 10 minutes. Go ahead and select that and make sure that you select any of the other settings to how you want it to be. Come over here to color management, and if you're going to do color the way I do it over here in the color management video, go ahead and change timeline color space to Davinci Wide Gamma Intermediate and output color space to Rec 709 Gamma 2.4. That's all set. You don't have to change anything else, and press save. That's all done for the project settings. Let's come over here to Davinci Resolve and preferences. I would always make sure that this is selected. This is going to make sure that if you make any proxy media, it's going to be in the same folders that your original files are in, so you don't have to go hunting for your proxy media. Hop over here to user and hop over here to the editing. We're going to change a start time code from 1 hour, change it to 0. This is just so that when you start a project, it's not going to have a random 1 hour as its time code, and we can go ahead and press save. Let's go ahead and come over here to the media pool, right click now, and let's just go ahead and create a new timeline. We can have the time code be whatever we want and name it whatever we want. Let's go ahead and click on project settings. Come over here to format. Now, if for every timeline individually, you can change the resolution and frame rate. It can be a little bit annoying that you can't change the frame rate later on, so it's very important now that you understand that you can only change the frame rate before a clip gets put into the timeline. We'll go ahead and just click create, and there we go. We have a nice timeline already set up for us. Up here on the top left, we have the media pool. This is where you can create a bunch of bins. Bins are essentially just folders on the desktop. You can change it to be a text-based, image-based, or even information-based view. You can organize it in different ways. You can even do a search for different things. There's a few other settings over here. I have power bins and smart bins turned on with this over here. Power bins, we'll talk about in a whole video all on its own. And then smart bins, they just categorize things based off of a preset bit of information, which you can create by right-clicking at smart bin, which we'll talk about that in its own video as well. Right down here, we have the edit panel. This is where you're going to have all of your effects like transitions, titles, generators, which are unique to Davinci Resolve. Like how a title is, it creates its own clip on the timeline. We also have open effects, which is essentially like a plugin that has a lot of other things to Davinci. And then audio effects, which is a small version of Fairlight. You can add things to audio clips or to whole tracks for easy editing on the edit page. Over here next to these two, on the left side, we have a shrink button. This gives you more space down here in the timeline while shrinking up what's up here, and you can just easily toggle between the stuff right here, and it will only ever allow this space to be filled. Let's turn on index. This shows you all the information about stuff in your timeline. So the index will tell you stuff about the video clips and audio clips. Tracks tells you information about the tracks and also lets you rearrange them. This is laying out all the markers you have in your timeline. So if we add some markers in here, you'll just see where they are and what their names are, which I just did that by pressing M on the keyboard. Let's go ahead and open up sound library now. This is where you can actually have any file on your system, any folder, be a sound library to access at any point in time while in Davinci. We can go ahead and close that. We can look over here now on the right side. We can see the inspector. This gives us information and elements that we can change per clip basis. So we can see the zoom, position, all the regular transform effects, and then we can see a bunch of other really handy things, which in the next video we'll be actually going over. You can even have the audio effects. You can even see slight metadata information, which, speaking of metadata, let's look at the metadata tab. But by default, you see a lot of important information, including the bit depth, the frame rate, which is right here, how many frames are in the clip, and how long the clip is in seconds and minutes. Up here on the right, you can actually have a drop down and select a bunch of other options. Let's come over here to Mixer and enable that. We can see we have a thing called meters, which this will tell you the volume of everything playing out of the timeline. If we select this, we can change this to a mixer, which then gives us the option to see the buses and all the audio tracks, including seeing the panning options. Double clicking it opens it, clicking it once will turn it off and turning it back on. Buses are very confusing. They're a very Fairlight thing that we'll be talking about in a Fairlight series one day, so go ahead and check that out up there whenever that's out. But just understand that any track that you make will automatically be sent to the bus. And then the bus is the thing that you export whenever you're exporting your video. Let's come over here to the quick export button, which this is what it sounds like on the tin. You click it and you can quickly select any of these presets and just export your timeline as it is, and it lets you select a location for it. Down here in the timeline, we have these nice easy widgets. This is your regular drag option, which you can access with pressing A. This is your regular blade tool, which can be accessed with pressing B, and you can just click, and then obviously Control Z undoes everything. This is a sort of trim edit tool, which can be accessed with T. This allows you to see the little icon that changed right there. My little cursor icon's different now. If you click and drag now, it actually changes what the time code is inside of the clip, but keeping your timing the same. These three options are for insetting clips into your timeline, which is going to be talked about in the cut page because they're the same icons you see over there. So go ahead and check that out on the top right. Over here we have snapping, which can be toggled within for some reason. This is all using the default Davinci Resolve keybinds, by the way. You can obviously change these and you can also choose different presets. This is what I use. Also, if you're holding something and press in, you can turn it off and on, and then if you release whatever you're holding, it will actually turn it back off. This is a way to easily unlink everything so that you don't have any linked clips. You don't have to worry about it. If you turn it back on though, things will be linked and it will just stay where it was. We can also alt click and it will select just one thing and we can easily move that. And to unlink the entire thing, we just right click and link clips off. That pretty much calls it for right now. There is definitely more to go over, but we'll be going over those in future videos. In the next video, we'll be going over the inspector, different parts of it, how to use it, and what each thing can be used for, like stabilizing, how to use all that, speed changes, lots of cool stuff. So we'll be talking about all of that in the next one. So I'll go ahead and see you then. I hope I'm getting better at these. This is like my 5th one I've recorded in the new place. Hopefully it's good. Hopefully I'm not too awkward, but I'm definitely too awkward, I think. I need to get better at like feeling around, you know, being real with you. This here at the end is kind of just me talking to you because I don't really have time to do that in these videos.